try to see if we can get those transferred over for him to address. But if you're on Zoom, please put those into the Q&A. And in the meantime, we're just about at time, so let's get started. And welcome everyone to this webinar on why you should get a general management certification in 2023 from IIM Indore. As I mentioned, we're here with Professor Modiani, who will take us through a little bit about the program before I tell you some of the other details. We'll be asking a couple of questions along the way. We'll also talk about what executive management is, what this program offers, how it develops your skills, and I'll take you through enrollment steps, and we'll have a brief Q&A both at the beginning and at the end in case additional questions come up. But right now I'd like Professor Modiani to introduce himself as the Associate Professor of Marketing.
Hi. Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar. We have an objective that we would like to talk in detail about this particular program. What are its objectives, so that you can take a much more informed decision whether this is a program which suits to you, or possibly we'll also like to answer in case if you have any queries about the program structure. So being a prof, my basic idea here would be to talk about academics part of the questions or doubts which you have to solve that out. As the slide says, let me introduce myself. Hi, my name is Manoj Motiani. I work with IIM Indore for last 10 years, and I am currently associate prof in the marketing area. Before coming to IIM Indore, I completed my PhD from IIM Ahmedabad. Before that, I worked in industry for a brief period of time at Aditya Birla Group, as well as at Godrej Consumer Private Limited. As a scholar, I have published few papers and possibly few of the reports which are available in both media and possibly in the research portal. And we do a small amount of consulting work for various companies as well as possibly some NGOs to work with. My research interest as a professor is in the field of sales management, service marketing, neuromarketing. These would be few areas in which I am more interested in terms of doing my research, consulting and training. To explain you about IIM Indore, IIM Indore was established in 1996. So we, in some sense, are the second generations IIM which got started up by Government of India. We have two campuses, one main campus, which is in IIM Indore, where we actually host all our programs, which include PGP, IPM, EPGP, all full-time programs, which are run from IIM Indore main campus. We also have another auxiliary campus in Mumbai. Its main target is to possibly have the cater management development programs. And also we run our PGPMX program, which is basically a full-time 2 years program, but the classes only happen in weekend. And given you have some 5-10 years of experience, you are eligible for this particular aspect. Now, as you might be aware that IIM Indore is ranked as one of the premium institute in this country, and we have been continuously ranked as a top B school both in India and abroad. For example, in NIRF ranking, our rank is 7. Our global MBA ranks 25th in the Asia. I'm just so sorry. I'll just give the answers of all the questions you're putting on the chat just after finishing this. We have a proper Q&A round. We are also being accredited by ACABS, AMBA, as well as EQUIS certification, which is called Triple Crown. So in India, we are the only second institute which has the Triple Crown in this country, which is the 3 different certifications which are a hallmark of the quality of the education which IIM Indore provide. Now, when we talk about this specific program, this is an executive certificate program in general management. Its duration would be 6 months, and it expects 5 to 10 hours per week of work. The idea for this particular program was the people who want to have some sort of an exposure for the general management program, and obviously it's not feasible for them to attend any full-time programs. Possibly they would be the one who would be most benefited out of it. We have a comprehensive curriculum which is aligned to the industry in terms of learning path. So whatever the course structure which has been selected is assuming that we will have a courses right from the beginners level to possibly a little bit of an advanced level, so that you can cover the entire spectrum. And it is assumed you have work experience. So many of the organization related things, you guys would be able to use them to create the most out of this particular program. There will be a hands-on projects for practical experience. One of that we will discuss later would be the capstone project. You will have an online live virtual classroom classes apart from the asynchronous classes, so that you will have a flexibility in terms of completing this course based on your time frame. As many of the lectures are asynchronous, that means you will see the recording. And plus, just to strengthen the aspect of what we have covered, we'll also have a live classes where the instructors would come and have an interaction with you related to the curriculum which they have covered, which gives you a little bit of a flexibility in terms of completing this course. So after completing this course, you will be getting a certificate from IIM Indore, which will be classifying you that you have completed your executive program here, and you will get a status of IIM Indore alumni executive, right? So that will be the status which you will be getting. There will be a 3 days campus immersion program for which there's an additional cost. So that means you can come to the campus, experience it. There will be also classes which will be conducted in those 3 days. If you don't attend that, still, if you are able to complete the other requirement, you would be able to get your certificate of completion. Great. Now let me talk about the structure and design of this particular program. So we'll start with the orientation sessions, which basically talk about what we'll be covering in this particular course, what would be the main idea, basic processing of how your classes will be conducting, the test which you have to pass. With that, we'll start with a smaller module, which will be talking about the foundations of management. Then we briefly go toward understanding the economic side of business, accounting, then trying to go towards a more specialized functional courses like operation management, supply chain, marketing management, human resource. Then talking about something which is much more relevant, possibly even at the senior level, which would be in the field of business analytics, management and leadership, strategy, design thinking, digital disruption and innovation. And then there will be a capstone project. So in the capstone project, what it is supposed to do is we'll be requesting you to pick up a live problem, a functional problem from your company on which you would be working. And then at the end of the course, you have to present this particular problem, how you were able to tackle it, what were some things which you were able to do with it, which will be also a part of your evaluation. And it gives a complete feedback loop system completed that you, after understanding about the basics of the courses, you were able to execute them to solve the real life problems. So that is how possibly this particular program we would like to structure.
All right, so at this point, we would like to take some of your questions, and I'm going to look both in the chat and the Q&A. Starting with the Q&A. We had a question from a user who wants to know if you could compare the Executive Postgraduate Certificate Program in Management, Executive Postgraduate Management EGP,
EGP and PGPMX, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me explain you the difference between these three different types of offering. When we talk about PGPMX course or ePGP course, they are degree courses which are offered by IIM Indore. So if you have become a part of a ePGP program, you have to stay in the campus for 1 year, complete all the course requirement, and at the end of the course, you get a 1 year MBA degree. When we talk about PGPMX, it is for the people who have a lot of work experience. They will be basically doing live classes in Mumbai campus on the weekend days. This process they will continue for 2 years, after which they will be completing their degree, which will be talking about PGPMX degree. Compared to these two programs, when you talk about the general management program, its duration is 6 months. So, and it offers you a certificate, not a degree, which is a little different. You can understand the technical difference between these two things. Second, obviously in PGPMX and ePGP programs, all the classes are on campus, live classes. Compared to this, we have asynchronous classes as well as synchronous classes. So in terms of both the content, its execution, and the final outcome, these three programs have a very different types of audience in mind.
Thank you. Amit asks if he has his MBA from Pune University and 15 years of experience, is this an appropriate program for him, or would you recommend something else?
Okay, so see, just by having a line that you have a 15 years of experience in MBA, it becomes very difficult for me to give you a ready-made solution, but let me explain you possibly what this program can do for you and possibly what this program won't be able to do for you. See, if you have a 15 years of experience and you are looking for a refresher, in the sense you want to refresh about the basic concepts which are there in the management and possibly upgrade yourself in terms of what has happened in 15 years in terms of the management principle, that might be a great course for you. In case if you are looking for a degree program, possibly this is not the right place to get a degree program. Or possibly if your objective is that you're looking for a senior management specific roles, right? Again, this program is not talking about specialization in a very specific thing. For example, there are programs which are very, very specific only in terms of leadership or data sciences. This program is actually not trying to achieve that. So depending upon what exactly you are seeking for, this program might be good for you, or possibly program might not be a right fit for you.
Thank you. Um, we have a question from someone in Malaysia if the certificate is recognized there.
Okay, when we talk about certificates recognition, I'm not sure about what are the some specific requirements in Malaysia. Generally, when you go to other countries, whenever there is a degree, when you claim there is a degree, it has to be approved from that particular government. Because this is not a degree program, if you're looking at it as a diploma program or certificate program, I think it might be considered as a degree, not a degree program, but a certificate program by the Malaysian government. But because it is decided by that particular country, I think we would like to check it before we give you a very, very strong response whether it will be recognized in some sense.
Thank you. Shamblavi has asked if this is for undergraduate students and if you could go over some of the
No, Shambhavi,
requirements.
this program is not for undergrad students, right? Basically, the idea is would have already completed your undergrad. So this is not a program that you're currently in the first year of your undergrad and you are trying to do this program. The purpose of this program is not for undergrad.
We have a couple of questions about price, and I will talk about that a little bit later in the webinar. So please stay on board for that.
Okay, so
And someone asked if the certificate would be physical and not digital. And I believe we issue a digital certificate. Do you know for sure the answer to that, Professor?
we gave a digital certificate, but there'll be a QR code, right, which talks about its uniqueness.
Okay.
Okay, and which will help you to recognize that who has been given that. Anshita, this is not a forum where I can give you tips for the CAT exam. So possibly this is the wrong place to ask that question.
I'm going through the chat now to see if there is this course also available for U.S. students.
This program is available for all students, for all the countries, because it's an online program, but you need to see whether this time would get synchronized with you or whether it meets your requirement.
And you'd be able to check the website to find out. But a general recommendation, which I'll make later, is to contact us through our email address to talk to a learning consultant.
3 days campus immersion, these is valedictory ceremony planned in these 3 days or anytime? No, the valedictory ceremony will happen on the 3 days of the campus visit only.
Okay. And as you mentioned, the course requires work experience. That was one of the questions here. So you do have to come into this as a working professional. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I think that covers all of the questions. Let me see if anything else has come in. Know that you have a time limit, Professor. Do you have a
So
few
I'd
more
like to
moments?
answer. Yeah, I'll surely wait in case if anyone has a question. I'd surely like to answer that.
Okay, and so we have a question. If the program is beneficial from someone who wants to pivot out of the education sector into the corporate sector.
Okay, so please understand if you are from education sector, I don't know at which level you are, whether you're a school teacher or working possibly in a college. So depending upon the graduation degrees which you have or the post-graduation degree which you have after which you have got into academics as a career, maybe this general management program will help you to get a general idea about how management functions, right? So at some roles it might be benefited, but I'll be very honest with you that this is not a degree program. So please understand after that, you will also have to work as they will be providing you an opportunity to upload your CVs on in terms of job. But you need to start your first step on your own to build your management career.
Thank you. We have an attendee who was able to join late. I want to assure everyone that we will be sending an email after this session. You'll get it in the next day or two with a link to the recording of the session, so you'll be able to review this. We had
We have two more questions, I think.
yeah, I think so. Sneha says, can you do the course if you're preparing for MBA entrance?
My suggestion would be if you're preparing for an MBA entrance, this program might not be directly beneficial for you in any way to prepare for your MBA. Because if you'll go in your MBA, possibly they have a very different curriculum, right? So if you're looking for thinking in terms of benefits for your MBA, I think then that's not a right way to pick up the choice. Because in case if you're doing MBA, it's a totally different path. But suppose you are someone who is planning to learn about management because it will be useful for your current job or possibly in terms of the career opportunities which you are looking, this might be a useful course for you.
Thank you. We have a question from a data scientist who wants to move up into management beyond the analytical role. And is this a good course for that?
See, if you're a data scientist and you think that maybe in your organization, it is required that you should have an awareness about general management concept. For example, you might be very good in terms of doing a cluster analysis, right? But possibly you are also running it for the marketing department to help them with the segmentation problem. In this program, you will understand exactly what is the things which about which they were looking for a solutions. So if your knowledge about general management increase, I think it might be beneficial because you will get a much better perspective about what exactly you are doing in terms of crunching those numbers. So it might be useful for you to move up the ladder because you will have a, apart from technical expertise, idea about the general management.
Okay. And Professor, you'd like to look through the questions in the Q&A and pick the ones that most appeal to you, because I think there's a few down here. There's one about
Whether it will be
opportunities.
useful for project man. Okay, sorry. Please, please, please.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
So I'll just go in the reverse chronicle order, whether it will be useful for project management sector. Again, Raj, project management sector itself is a huge sector. If you are someone who is in a domain specific job related to project management and you would like to get an exposure and if to understand how the general management work, how these interdepartments work, then possibly this program would be very suitable for you to get a general idea about how possibly the organization work. As a career, this, okay, let me answer. I think one more question has come. Is this program termed as EPGM program? If this EPGM program have 1 year duration, how this program? Okay, please understand this is a executive program. This is not a degree granting program. So the program which you are referring to, which is called EPGP program, that's a degree granting program, which is 1 year of duration, which happens in campus. So this is not exactly that 1 year program which we have divided into two pieces. The program which you are talking about is a very separate program compared to our EPGP program, which is a residential program which finally result into a degree. So it's very different in terms of content and possibly its delivery and the final outcome.
I'm going to ask a question about exams and the process of assessments and tests on this program. Uh, can you mention a little bit about that?
Sure. So with every module, when you will be covering a module, there will be an exam, which is basically MCQ. Most of the time, there will be an MCQ exam, which is there. You have to give that exam and score a suitable marks so that we get an assurance that you were able to understand that particular subject. Once you have cleared all these exams, there's a capstone project. In a capstone project, as I stated, we will request you to identify one problem from your organization, which is related to a specific domain. You will be doing an industry analysis. Plus, obviously, in this course, there are domain specific modules. So you'll be also getting some insight from the domain specific module, which would be covered. And it is expected that you will use that input to come up with a report, some sort of a presentation, which you would be presenting to us in terms of how you were able to approach to that specific problem. That would be considered as your capstone project.
Okay. And I think the last question, because I know you have the time limit, from Sridhar, who says, will the course cover the latest tools and techniques in general management?
Okay. When we talk about course covering the latest tools and techniques, see the idea of these particular courses is there will be a mix of. Suppose if I'm trying to teach you marketing, I'll explain you from where the subject has evolved. Eventually, what are some new things which are happening in this particular subject. Even when you look into the structure of this course, so being in the management field for last now close to 15, 18 years, if I can say that safely, there were many topics which in my possibly time of graduation were not heard of. For example, design thinking, digital disruption. So the course is trying its level best to update itself with the latest happening in terms of management, and that has been aligned in this particular program to make sure that it is most relevant for the participants.
Wonderful. Thank you, Professor. And I think that is all the time we have for questions for this part of the presentation. And I want to thank you for being here with us today.
Great. Thank you, Stuart sir, and thank you to all the participants for taking out time for this particular webinar.
Right. And I want to invite everyone to stay with us, please, as I describe the pro program's other details, including the pricing and how to enroll. So let's move on. Going to talk a little bit about general management. Some of the questions had an issue about that, but this is one of the reasons why it's important to understand general management and understanding it in the context of digital technology also, because of the digital transformation the world has undergone, especially in the last several years during the pandemic, during the lockdowns, when many of us were asked to do work from home. Many of the businesses we use went to no contact methods when more of our lives moved onto our mobile devices. And so uh, transformation in businesses is fundamentally profound, and we need as managers to understand digital technology and its applications, and in the context of general management, how all of this works in the context of all the functions of the business. So as you saw in the curriculum, it covers things like business analytics. It covers things like supply chain management, which has become more top of mind in recent years, so that you understand the context of applying all the skills in a holistic way. And we talk about all of these types of skills: general management, economics, accounting, financial management, and then understanding operations and supply chain, understanding marketing, and human resource management, the leadership skills of a manager, the analytics, strategic, and the design thinking and digital disruption skills. So this gives you a holistic and well-rounded background. Uh, that opens up a number of different career paths as you move up in management. You can department manager to division manager to a functional area director, general manager, up into the executive officers, and then finally into the C-suite as you gain more experience over the years. But starting with this foundation, this gives you opening into that path. So I would like to ask a poll of our audience, and if you're on the streaming service, you can put A, B, C, D into your comments. And what this poll asks is, what has prevented you from doing a certification of this type up until now? It's open for about another 15 seconds. I'll check one thing, so bear with me if your screen blanks for a second. Okay. And here is the answer to the poll. And so the main concerns for this audience are finding a comprehensive curriculum in a program this type, um, finding time in your work schedule to accomplish it, and getting the practical exposure you need to be able to show off your new skills. we've talked about the curriculum and the comprehensive curriculum. I want to go, I think, into the people who will be running the program for you. You met Professor Motiani and Professor Dash, Professor Rastogi, Professor Gaijar, Professor Bilor, Professor Basu, and Professor Kodwani are all um, faculty at IIM Indore and different specialties. So different modules will be conducted under the direction of these different professors. As you move through the program, you'll encounter experts in each of the different areas as you transition from one topic to the next. So it's a broad range program with a broad base of faculty talent behind it. The prerequisites are that you must have a bachelor's degree. So we cannot take, unfortunately, people still working on their degrees or people with just a diploma. You must have 2 or more years of work experience. This is so that you have the context and the uh, environment in which to use and practice the new skills that you're gaining, and so that you have the basic background to be able to associate what you're learning to your experience. You can come from any business background or industry sector. So one of the questions I saw earlier asked about whether this is applicable in all industries, and the nature of this program is that it is generally applicable. You may learn things that don't specifically apply in your business, or that you think don't apply. For example, you might not think that supply chain applies to a digital-based business providing software as a service, for example, but you will get to see the new connections that you hadn't thought of before. So with this, I would like to ask, how many years of experience do people currently have? And we'll see who in our audience be eligible for the program. I'll leave this open for another 10 seconds. We'll close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'll share the result. So about, looking here, about 40%, I think, of our audience have more than 5 years of experience, or more than 3 years of experience. For the people who are in the 0 to 3 category, if you're just at the cusp, you want to time your entry. If you're at the 3-year level, you're eligible. Folks who are here as undergrad students, you'll want to keep this in mind for the future. So we'll on now to how the program prepares you, and I'll describe to you. The learning environment is completely digital. You have a learning management system that allows you to manage your curriculum, to see all of the modules of the program, and see the sequence that you will follow. The program is built in a way that you follow that sequence fairly strictly because of the fact that you'll be taking live classes, and so it will be necessary to keep in the sequence in order to make sure that you're getting advantage of the classes associated with each module. And in each module, you'll be given the information about how many of the live classes you must attend in order to complete the course, and how many of the self-study modules and exercises, module end assessments and projects you have to do. So each module unlocks access to the one following, and as each one completes, you get a mini certificate for that module that allows you to move to the next one. It's all done again, on the digital platform. So your classes are presented to you online, live ones, the asynchronously recorded ones. You have access to pre-recorded video material for review and preparation before the live classes. And you also have a platform on which you do your case studies, your projects and your tests and assessments on the same digital platform. So all of it is available to you on any device that has a web browser. Of course, we recommend you use a laptop or desktop for most of the coursework, but you can access much of the material, especially video recordings, on your mobile device. And it's available, the platform's available 24/7. So outside of the scheduled live classes, you can do the work at any time that you have time in your week, in your schedule. Um, Progress tracking will keep you on track and remind you if you are getting past due on any of the coursework, so that prompts you to catch up. And there are support tools, including a user community where you can turn to your fellow students and the faculty for answers to questions. You can also access our 24/7 help desk, so that if you have any technical issues with the platform, or if you need somebody to do a quick answer on a technical subject, we do have 24/7 support. We'll talk about some of the learner outcomes. Oops. So just want to review with you that you will be learning alongside other people from the working world, which means um, a lot of people come in from IT and services, but also all the industries: banking, financial services, software, the automotive industry, telecommunications. Um, so as we said, this program applies in every industry, so people from every industry attend, and you will be learning alongside people who may come from companies like Amazon, Tata, Wells Fargo Bank, Citibank, Oracle, IBM, the consulting world of Accenture, Cognizant, Mercedes-Benz. These are all companies who have seconded people to this program. So you'll get a chance to network with peers in different organizations. And that's a great way to cross-pollinate. Um, we had a number of questions about how this program helps you in finding another position, a new position. So if you do want to leverage a program like this to find a new position, we will be providing you a job assist for those of you users who are in India. Fortunately, it doesn't, job assist doesn't apply outside of India, but the job assist service for India learners gives you access to online educational webinars. Those actually are available to everyone worldwide. Um, the real world projects across industries are part of what you do in the program. So that's again also available to all the participants worldwide in this program. It's the specific job assist services from IIM Jobs that are specific to India. And those include access to the IIM job portal. These services last for 6 months after you earn your certificate. So you will be able, for 6 months after completing the program, access the IIM Jobs job portal to do confidential searches of their employer network. You'll be able to access their resume review and rewrite services, which give you the opportunity to have your resume reviewed and rewritten with professional help, so that it can serve the dual purpose of passing through a automated tracking systems AI bot. This is how resumes are evaluated these days, and resume has to be in a format where the AI system can recognize its content, your experience, your um, skills, and then filter you into the rest of the job search. So writing your resume to filter you in rather than out is a skill that they'll help you with, as well as keeping it attractive to the human eye, so that when it lands on a hiring manager's desk or screen, it will still catch their attention and draw them in, get you to the interview process. And that's another area where this service helps you because, as you know, when you interview for a position, you'll have to go through phone screen with the HR recruiter or the HR department. You'll have to go through the technical interviews from your prospective peers and manager who will ask you about your ability to do the work. Then you'll have to go through cultural fit interviews that ask about your fit with the corporate culture, your work ethic, your ability to be a teammate. And so these one-on-one interview sessions allow you to practice each of those types of interviews with a human being, get coaching on how to pass each one. As I mentioned, the webinars, which are done on an ongoing basis by Simplilearn, these are free, no cost, available to you and available to you on a lifelong basis that cover technical skills, career skills like how to do your job search, career care and feeding skills, soft skills like how to apply lean principles in your career, for example, or specific technical subjects in mini lessons. So all of this to help keep your skills sharp over the years, your career. So based on what Professor Manoj said and what I've shared with you, are you potentially interested in enrolling in this program? I'll leave this open for about 15 seconds as it's a yes or no question. I'll close the question in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excuse my weak eyes. We have about 88% of our audience who said they are potentially interested. So I'll share with you how that process works. Now, Simplilearn is the delivery partner for this program for IIM Indore. So we provide the platform, we provide administrative services, and you email us at askus@simplilearn.net to get the process started. I am going to put that into the chat box for you so you have that email address right at your fingertips. It's me here. While Zoom is going to shut down and restart on my end, and I'll be right back. Apologize for that. Zoom does that occasionally on my side. Again, I'm putting into the chat the email address. All right. So you email us, our learning consultant will then review with you, ask for proof of your educational and work experience. And once we've reviewed your qualifications, we will then send you letter of admission. And the next cohort starts, classes start in 20 May, so you can get into the induction session on 11 April. You can ask about other cohorts as well. I think there's actually a cohort with April classes, but the induction session may not be happening between that, but definitely the 11 April induction will get you into the classes beginning in May. Talk about limited seats, and the reason why we say limited seats, because this is a digital program and people obviously think that you can put as many people as you want into a digital program, but the truth is that this is done with live virtual classes. So each batch, each cohort has to be limited to about 25 to 30 people in order for the instructors and professors to give sufficient attention to each student. So if this is something that you want to get started on, please do contact us right away at askus@simplilearn.net, and we'll get you into the batch of your choice. Here are the fees. This program is 2,47,800 rupee. That's inclusive of taxes. And it can be financed in equal monthly installments of 8,226 a month. So again, reach out to us at askus@simplilearn.net if you have any questions about that, or if you want to find out what the price is quoted in and what currency it's quoted in your local country if you're outside of India. For those of you who answered that you are interested in this program, how soon would you like to start? Are you looking at the April cohort, or are you looking at somewhere a little bit further down the line? I'll close this poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So again, almost 2/3 of our audience are interested in starting either in the May classes or possibly June, July. That's fantastic, and please do email us immediately at askus@simplilearn.net. For those of you looking further down the road, it's a good thing to email us now, and we'll keep in touch with you, keep you advised of future cohorts in the program, and any other requirements that you need to satisfy. And I'm going to take a few more questions at this point before we do this last question, so I'm not going to start this last poll quite yet. We'll stop sharing for a second. And I want to go through to see if there are any additional questions that I can help with. Professor is not here, so I'm not sure I'll be able to answer everything that's available here. Go through quickly and check to see if I can answer some of those for you. You mentioned the bonus for the attendees. I will tell you about that right now. So for those of you who attended this webinar, there is a 15% discount. If you tell our learning consultant about that, there will be a 15% discount. This will be described in the follow-on email as well. So you'll have a notice of that. And that's your bonus for attending this webinar and joining an upcoming cohort. So bonus is not indefinite. You do want to be able to join the May cohort to take advantage of it. But again, details will be in the follow-on email. Can the certificate be used as a post-graduation certificate? That I would ask the learning consultants about its official status for that purpose. This is an executive certificate, so I don't think that we use the terminology postgraduate certificate. What is the timing schedule in the week? So the classes for the programs are generally either weekends or in the evenings during the week outside of working hours. And this is so that working professionals can take the course without interfering with their working hours. And again, we say that you should dedicate about 10 hours a week in your overall schedule for this. Working as an SAP consultant with 3 years of experience, how will this course help? One of the ways this course will help you as an SAP consultant is understanding the broader context in which ERP and supply chain, the other aspects of the SAP platform, are used in business. So you'll be able to kind of see the connections between the functions that your SAP platforms perform and the rest of the business they support. Which course is better and demanded most in the market, PGDM or MBA? So these are different types of program. I don't know the answer, but you can ask our learning consultants about that. Can you throw some light on the digital transformation coverage in this course? Yes, you'd be able to go to the website for the course, and I'll share that URL to download the program syllabus. The notion about digital transformation course is to talk about how digital technology has made it possible to do um, business tasks, business processes, management tasks in a new way. So we'll cover examples of that. We'll cover theory and the evolution of the technology behind that. And that's we offer other courses that focus entirely on digital transformation. Is the course free or not? I think we covered that. After the program, do we get placements? You get assistance with finding a job, but you do not get a guaranteed placement. Is it helpful for political career? That's an interesting question because you have two aspects to your political career. One is management skills of managing your campaign efforts, managing your office if you're successful as a office holder. So the ability to manage that office is very important. You also need to understand the concerns of your constituents. So if your political office covers things that regulate business or involve business, pardon me, this course will help you understand what the impact of your decisions as a politician will be on those constituents. How is the program useful in the power sector? If you're in a government utility, you have the same general management issues, but you also have, you need to understand supply chain, for example, in great detail, both for the supply chain to keep your network running, but also how you work into the supply chains of your customers. So this is a important. Will there be assignments that get graded? There will be assignments in each program that get assessed, not for letter grade or percentage grade, but for pass fail. And you do need to pass each of those in order to move from that course to the next one. You can ask, we have a question of whether this course like this helps people move up in management. And you can ask our learning consultants about examples of people and their experience of success after taking the course. Okay. How will this help for hardcore sales professionals with 12 to 15 years of experience? And that's a great question because it depends on what you're selling. If you are in a business to business field and understanding the business of your customers, going to make you a better salesperson, more successful. If you're looking to manage your own internal organization, possibly move into management, become a sales manager, move into marketing management up in the chain of command, um, this will also help you in that dimension. Same thing is true of the solution architect or the analyst or anybody in a technical or engineering role. Understanding the management aspects, having general management background will help you understand your role and how you can serve your company more effectively and gain higher visibility. Okay. And All right. I think that covers from the questions and answers. I'm going to see if, take a look, excuse me, in the chat real quick. Just want to, I apologize if I do not get to your question. If there's a question in here that I have missed. From where am I conducting this meeting? I happen to be based in California in the US. However, Professor Manoj is based in Indore. That's where he was presenting from. Simplilearn is a company based in both Bangalore in India as well as in San Francisco, California. So we are a dual headquartered international company, multinational company. Okay, and I think I'm going to move on to the last question. And the last question I have for you in the audience is, oops, shouldn't be sharing that one. Reshare that. Do you need assistance with enrollment? And if you want to receive a proof of attendance for this session we've just concluded, answer yes, but also if you would like us to reach out to you to help you with questions and get you enrolled, also answer yes here. So do you want us to reach out to you, and do you want to receive a proof of attendance for this session? The proof of attendance for this session, of course, doesn't carry any weight as a management certification. It just proves that you came to this webinar. And I'll leave this open for another 3, 2, 1. And about 55% of you would like us to reach out, so we will do that after this webinar. You should expect to hear from us the next day or so. And well, those people will also receive the certificates, proof of attendance certificates, I should say. With that, I want to thank everyone. I would thank Professor Manoj for being generous with his time and knowledge. And I want to thank all of you for being here on this webinar. We hope that we can welcome you into the IIM Indore Simplilearn learning community. Promised, you can use that QR code to access the web page, but I'm also going to put the URL into the chat right now. As my voice fades, sorry about that.